Hello, welcome to A News. I'm Dilek Tuna. These are the headlines. US President Donald Trump has announced US-China trade talks in London next week. At least 3 people have been killed and dozens injured in the biggest drone attack on Ukraine's Kharkiv. Turkey's first hybrid rocket reaches space and breaks altitude record. US President Donald Trump announced on Friday that top US officials will hold renewed trade talks with Chinese counterparts in London next week, following a rare call with Chinese President Xi Jinping. The US delegation, led by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, will include Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and US Trade Representative Jameson Greer. The meeting is set for Monday, Trump said on Truth Social, adding that the meeting should go very well. During the recent calls, he reportedly agreed to allow the flow of rare earth minerals and magnets to the United States, a key sticking point in the ongoing trade dispute. Trump confirmed this when asked aboard Air Force One. The Chinese embassy in Washington has not yet commented on the agreement. At least 3 people have been killed and another 22 injured in the biggest Russian drone attack on Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv, the mayor has said. Ihor Tedakov says the overnight Russia launched 48 drones as well as 2 missiles and 4 gliding bombs. We have a lot of damage, he said, adding that 3 high-rising residential buildings were hit. 6 people were killed and 80 injured across Ukraine the previous night when Russia attacked the country with more than 400 drones and nearly 40 missiles. Moscow said that the aerial attack was a response to what it described as terrorist acts by Kyiv, claiming that military sites were targeted. The US Senate is set to move ahead next week with a bill on imposing sanctions on Russia and countries buying Russian oil and other goods. The bill, which has cross-party support, would impose a 500% tariff on imported goods from countries that buy Russian oil, gas and other goods. Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of trying to drag out the peace process following a visit to Kyiv.
Ukraine is ready for peace, is willing to make sacrifices and compromise for peace, is willing to stop the fighting to achieve peace. It's clear to almost anyone Putin is not remotely interested in anything that would lead to peace.
The burden is on Vladimir Putin. And right now, let's be very blunt, he's playing the United States for a stooge. Americans don't like to be made fools of. But that's what he's doing. Clearly, obviously, prolonging and playing for time, stonewalling and stalling and stringing out the President of the United States. Americans won't stand for it.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Israel is arming local militias in Gaza in efforts to defeat Hamas. Netanyahu said the move has saved the lives of Israeli soldiers fighting in the Palestinian territory, while former Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman criticized it, saying it threatens national security. Hamas responded to Netanyahu's statement claiming that Israel is aiming to create a state of insecurity and social chaos, and vowed to fight against the armed groups. World leaders, scientists and activists will be gathering in Nice for the United Nations' 3rd Ocean Conference. The event in France is meant to tackle threats to the seas from plastic to climate change.
The world's oceans are under threat from climate change, plastic pollution and rising sea levels. Now the United Nations is hosting its 3rd Ocean Conference in Nice, France, aiming to find global solutions.
Ocean is not doing very well, to be completely frank, and not all countries are equally equipped to deal with sea level rise. I mean, in the global north, You know, we have resources, we have capacity to protect the coast in small islands in the middle of the Pacific. There's no other options.
Oceans cover over 70% of the Earth's surface. The ocean is a key provider of vast resources and biodiversity. It's an important enabler of trade and an essential link between countries and human communities. However, it is now being threatened by multiple pressures, and pollution and overfishing are pushing marine ecosystems to the brink.
We have a tendency of using our ocean as a dumping ground. 80% of the pollution that we find on the ocean actually comes from land. A lot of this, of course, is plastic.
This year's summit will push for stronger ocean protections, more financing for marine conservation, and better use of marine science to help shape policy.
The picture is not great, but I think there are solutions. And what we know is that the ocean has a great capacity to recover. If you give it a chance, if you protect areas, if you protect key ecosystems, if you reduce some of the stresses that we are putting out there on the ocean can recover and become healthier again.
The challenge now for leaders is turning words into action to keep the world's oceans clean, healthy, and sustainable for generations to come.
Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has extended congratulations to Azerbaijan on the Kurban holiday, or Eid al-Adha, for the first time. In a post on X, he congratulated the Republic of Azerbaijan and its people on the occasion of Kurban Bayram, using the holiday's name in Azerbaijani. He wished peace and prosperity to both nations. Azerbaijan's ambassador to the UK has rejected claims that one of Armenia's wealthiest men is facing a kangaroo court, pointing to recent international legal rulings that support the legitimacy of the proceedings.
Ruben Vardanyan, an Armenian oligarch, is currently detained in Baku facing 42 charges related to war crimes. His son recently called the trial a kangaroo court. Azerbaijan's ambassador to the UK, Elen Suleymanov, rejects these claims, saying that the process is legitimate and backed by rulings from the International Court of Justice and a UN Human Rights Panel. He points out that the court proceedings are open to the public, televised, and that Vardanyan has full legal defense.
Mr. Vardanyan is being tried on a very clear accusations of committing war crimes, managing and organizing and financing terrorist activity plus armed groups. Now, this all is not just our accusations. All the claims about so-called kangaroo court and things like that were dismissed summarily by the International Court of Justice very recently, about 2 months ago, and by the UN High Human Rights Council's group on arbitrary detentions, which completely dismissed all these accusations. What they said was that the due process is being followed, that Mr. Vardanyan is being tried on a very clear and obvious accusations, and that the court is being conducted very much along the principles and guidelines and rules of international law and Azerbaijani legislation. Now, if you follow the court hearings yourself, you could actually, court proceedings are very open. They are not closed. You could see them on TV. People followed. You could see how open it is, that he has his defense.
Suleymanov adds that Vardanyan was parachuted into Karabakh from Moscow, describing him as an oligarch who supported separatism, financed terrorism, and threatened Azerbaijani officials. He also notes that Vardanyan is sanctioned by Ukraine for supporting Russian military actions. While understanding the emotional reaction from Vardanyan's family, Suleymanov insists the court process must continue. On why the trial has lasted this long, he says the trial has taken over 550 days because real legal proceedings take time, not like Soviet-era show trials, and adds that it's Vardanyan's own legal team that has repeatedly asked for more time and resources. American political analyst Michael Doran has weighed in on the case of Ruben Vardanyan, posting on his X account that Vardanyan made billions in Russia as a crony of Putin and was parachuted into Karabakh to serve as a rival to PM Pashinyan. He also accused Vardanyan of using the Aurora Prize to manipulate high-profile Americans, naming George Clooney and Samantha Power. Ruben Vardanyan founded Russia's Troika Dialogue Bank and was a major figure in Moscow's financial sector, also supporting Armenian interests. An investigation linked Troika Dialogue to a large money laundering operation benefiting Vardanyan and his family, though he denies wrongdoing. In 2022, he gave up his Russian citizenship, moved to Karabakh, and became state minister of the unrecognized Nagorno-Karabakh Republic. Azerbaijan accuses him of funding illegal armed groups there, while experts say his move aligns with Kremlin interests in the South Caucasus.
So who is Ruben Vardanyan, who stands accused of terrorism, financing armed groups and other serious offences? And how did he become entangled in such allegations? Here are the details.
Vardanyan's court hearing, presided over by Judge Zainal Agaev on January 17th, addressed accusations ranging from terrorism to crimes against humanity. According to the Azerbaijani State Security Service, these charges stem from his alleged involvement in funding and organizing illegal armed groups operating in Karabakh. Best known as the founder of Troika Dialogue, one of Russia's premier investment banks, Vardanyan also carved a reputation as an advocate for global Armenian interests. His career trajectory has taken him from Moscow's financial elite to international headlines. Vardanyan's impact on Russia's economy was profound. Under his leadership, Troika Dialogue became a cornerstone of Russian finance, and he served on the boards of major companies like Kamaz and Volga-Dnepr. His work extended to the Skolkovo Innovation Center, a flagship project in Russia's bid to modernize its economy. The Organised Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, OCCRP, revealed that Troika Dialogue facilitated the transfer of billions of dollars through a complex network of offshore accounts. These transactions reportedly benefited Russian oligarchs and government-affiliated entities. Although Vardanyan has denied direct involvement, OCCRP's investigation paints a picture of a financial ecosystem intertwined with Kremlin interests.
Vardanyan and his family were among those who received money from the laundromat. More than $3.2 million was used to pay for his American Express card, went to accounts belonging to his wife and family, and paid school fees for his 3 children in Great Britain. Asked about these sums, Vardanyan said the offshore companies Troika created serviced his own companies in addition to the bank's clients.
In a dramatic shift, Vardanyan renounced his Russian citizenship in 2022 to avoid Western sanctions. But Ukraine included him on its sanctions list for providing logistical support to the Russian occupation army. Right after denouncing his Russian citizenship, he relocated to Karabakh, assuming the role of state minister in the so-called unrecognized self-proclaimed Nagorno-Karabakh Republic. He positioned himself as a visionary leader focused on the region's development amid escalating tensions. The timing of Vardanyan's move has raised suspicions. Analysts argue that his presence in Karabakh coincided with Russia's strategic interests in maintaining influence over the South Caucasus. Vardanyan has faced accusations of being a Kremlin-installed figure aimed at undermining Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, who has pursued more pro-Western policies. These claims are widely discussed in geopolitical analyses, including reports by Stratfor and the Moscow Times. During his tenure as state minister, Vardanyan reportedly facilitated the operations of illegal armed factions. According to Azerbaijani security services, he facilitated the funding and operation of these groups, contravening international and Azerbaijani law. His activities have been a focal point in Azerbaijan's legal and diplomatic efforts to reassert control over Karabakh.
Based on the collected evidence, reasonable suspicions have arisen that Vardanyan Ruben Karlenovich, born in 1968, currently a citizen of the Republic of Armenia, committed the criminal acts under Articles 214-1, financing of terrorism, 279.3, participation in an armed formations or groups which are not provided by the legislation, and 318.1, illegal crossing of the state border of the Republic of Azerbaijan, of the Criminal Code of the Republic of Azerbaijan.
Vardanyan's arrest on September 27, 2023, marked a turning point. Azerbaijani forces detained him while he attempted to cross into Armenia, citing substantial evidence of his involvement in terrorism and other crimes.
Turkey has taken another major step in its journey to become a spacefaring nation. The country's first two-stage hybrid rocket system, developed by Delta V Space Technologies, has surpassed an altitude of 200 kilometres in a recent test, setting a new record for this type of rocket engine. The achievement marks a significant milestone for Turkey's national space program and moves the country closer to achieving independent space access.
Delta V's two-stage hybrid rocket system reached an altitude exceeding 200 kilometers during a test flight, breaking the previous altitude record for hybrid rocket motors and marking a new chapter in Turkey's space ambitions. The breakthrough was welcomed by the Ministry of Industry and Technology. Minister Mehmet Fatih Kacır highlighted that Delta V Space, which is also developing the hybrid rocket motor for Turkey's planned moon mission, had secured another historic success with these latest tests. The Presidency of Defense Industries, or SSB, confirmed the achievement through an official announcement on social media. The SSB stated that the Delta V developed hybrid rocket system not only surpassed the 200-kilometer threshold, but also successfully completed numerous other challenging objectives during the test flight. According to the defense agency, this success represents a pioneering advance not only for Turkey, but also globally, positioning the country at the forefront of hybrid rocket technologies. The successful test is considered one of the fundamental building blocks for Turkey's long-term space goals, including reaching the moon, developing interplanetary missions, and establishing independent satellite launch capabilities. The SSB underlined that this critical system will pave the way for more advanced missions in line with Turkey's national space program objectives. The record-setting performance also reflects the growing maturity of the country's research, development, and production capabilities in space technologies. Delta V, in an official statement, expressed its appreciation to all stakeholders involved, particularly the SSB, for their continuous support throughout the development process. Turkey's hybrid rocket success is seen as a bold step toward greater self-reliance in space exploration and technology as the country continues to push forward with its ambitious space agenda.
A global pledge to protect the world's disappearing glaciers was signed in Dushanbe. The first high-level conference on melting glaciers gathered more than 2,500 participants from 80 countries. The Dushanbe Declaration calls for urgent global action to slow the phenomena and protect water supplies. The plan outlines emission cuts, greener production and stronger monitoring systems. Afghanistan and Kyrgyzstan have announced a new partnership to tackle the climate crisis and protect endangered wildlife. The agreement was reached on the sidelines of an international environmental summit in Kyrgyzstan. Tamim Bahis has more from Kabul.
In a major step toward regional environmental cooperation, Afghanistan and Kyrgyzstan have agreed to work together on climate action and wildlife protection. The announcement comes after a high-level meeting on the sidelines of an international environmental conference. The Director General of Afghanistan's National Environmental Protection Agency met with Kyrgyzstan's Minister of Natural Resources during the Global Snow Leopard and Ecosystem Protection Program conference held in Kyrgyzstan. During the meeting, both sides expressed the urgent need for joint action to tackle climate change and protect endangered species like the snow leopard. They agreed to form a joint committee to follow up on shared environmental goals and expand bilateral cooperation. The talks also touched on Afghanistan's planned participation in the upcoming COP30 conference. Kyrgyzstan expressed full support and both countries reaffirmed their commitment to conservation and sustainable development. Afghanistan's delegation thanked Kyrgyzstan for its hospitality and praised the country's leadership in organizing the event. This meeting marks a significant step in building stronger environmental partnerships across Central Asia. This is Tamim Bahis in Kabul for A News.
The South Caucasus' biggest digital and gaming event kicks off this weekend in Baku. From globally renowned studios to student developers, Game Summit 2025 is where creativity, technology and opportunity converge.
Game Summit 2025, the region's biggest celebration of gaming, digital culture, and creative industries. The annual festival brings together global and local giants including Solar, Epic Games, Garena, alongside support from the Azerbaijani Ministry of Culture, IDDA, and the Embassy of Japan. Kicking off with an international business conference on June 6th, the event will spotlight trends in game development, gamification, and the export of local creative talent. Gamers can compete in esports tournaments, visit developer and publisher zones, and enjoy a colourful cosplay festival and K-pop performances. A bustling market zone will offer collectibles and exclusive merch.
I think it's great for Baku that the starting point is here with the Game Summit. I mean, it's been well represented, a lot of great turnout today, and I think there's huge opportunity in this country in regards to not only talent but emerging talent and new talent coming into play. So I think they're doing a great job promoting this environment. There's a lot more to be done and a lot more opportunities to be had, but I think the future looks really, really bright for gaming and all of the associated areas as well within the environment.
So we've seen what the film industry has been capable of doing, and we've seen the cultural impact it can have in terms of translating the messaging, right? Gaming is here to complement and enable the creator economy. So it transcends media. It's not just films and not just social media. Gaming is cross-sector, right? So it's cross-pollination. And the reason the government should be supporting the creative economy, and more importantly, the gaming industry, is because it's a $600 billion industry. Azerbaijan is perfectly positioned to be that regional hub that attracts the foreign investments and the studios.
But Game Summit is more than just entertainment. It's a launch pad for the next generation of industry professionals. Career consultations, mentorship sessions, workshops, and speed networking will help students and enthusiasts connect with the industry's top players.
That's the world news for the hour. Stay tuned to A News for more updates.